Good deal, everybody. Good morning. PT on Ice Daily Show. Dr. Jeff Moore here, CEO of ICE, lead faculty for cervical spine management and lumbar spine management courses. So happy Thursday, happy Leadership Thursday. Good to have everybody here. Good to be on the PT on Ice show. So I think first, right out of the gates, this is Leadership Thursday, but even I think more importantly and more recently, it has been deemed, what's up, Kelsey? It has been deemed Gut Check Thursday. So for those of you who aren't following the insanity from the brainchild of Alan Frenendahl, we have Gut Check Thursday now. So every Thursday, we as ICE faculty release a workout that you have a few days to do. And if you do the workout and use on Instagram, use hashtag IceTrained and tag Ice Physio, so at Ice Physio, right? We now give out a free t-shirt, a random drawing for everybody who completed Gut Check Thursday. We draw somebody every week and send them a free Ice Trained Gut Check t-shirt. So I could not believe how many of you did it last week. So we had, what was it? For time, 120 calories for gals, 150 calories for guys on the rower. And I couldn't believe we got past 50 submissions, and I was like, these people are nuts. So we are going to run with this thing. So every Thursday, we are going to release a workout that is going to be very doable from a skill set perspective, but very uncomfortable intentionally. For those of you who were on our Facebook page, are following our social media, we released it last night, but this week's Gut Check Thursday is an AMRAP. That means as many reps as possible. An AMRAP, 7 minutes to do as many reps as possible of burpees. Okay, so we've got an AMRAP 7 burpees. So it's very simple. Do as many burpees as you can possibly do in 7 minutes, right? Take a picture of a time-lapse video to capture the scene you're doing it in. Give us something on Instagram. Tag Ice Physio, hashtag IceTrained. Let's get some good conversation going. Kelsey, I know you're going to be doing it. I already saw your conversation with your buddy. I will go to the gym early today and knock out my AMRAP 7, and I can't wait to see the numbers. Kevin, I know, man. I believe before my CrossFit days, I believe this was the CrossFit Open Workout 12-1. Because when we posted it, there were a lot of people kind of rolling their eyes saying, God, it hurt the first time, it's going to hurt again. So Gut Check Thursday is ready. AMRAP 7 burpees, at Ice Physio, hashtag IceTrain. Kelsey Kramer already done 109. 109. Okay, the bar is set, folks. We're going to chase that. All right, so thanks everyone for being here. I'm looking forward to chatting. And what I want to talk about this morning is certification. So we've gotten a lot of questions over the years, about, are certifications worth it? Should certifications even exist? Are they just more alphabet soup? All very good questions and certainly have given us a lot to think about. So let me tell you, first of all, full disclosure, I've got a lot of them. So I've accumulated over the years quite a few certifications from different groups. And we offer a number of them through ICE. And so we'll talk about kind of our thoughts from, first of all, me personally, why I pursued them, and then why we offer them as a company, and then what they can do to benefit you as an individual, but then certainly some concerns too. And as companies, where I think we need to, walk the line and make sure that we're not offering unnecessary letters that don't serve a purpose. So we'll chat a bit about that. So first things first, what I don't think certifications do is I don't think certifications bring a tremendous amount of people to your door. So I think if you're going out and trying to accumulate certifications and letters to show more expertise to the general public, to increase the amount of folks coming to your shop, I don't think that's the right way to go about it. I mean, number one, just on principle, right? I really think that if you're kind of that business first, skill second practitioner, I really want to challenge you to think about pursuing excellence first and letting business follow. Right? It's the hashtag get good, not busy, right? Worry about getting great and business will follow. I just have never bumped in to incredibly exceptional clinicians who are struggling to find patients. It just doesn't happen. I know plenty of people who are trying to use marketing schemes to get more patients who wind up fizzling out. But excellence survives and excellence thrives, only always. right? So as you're going out and getting these certifications, we certainly hope that you're doing it to improve your skill set to be able to better serve, and then letting the marketplace follow that. But what I don't think they do is I don't think having additional letters behind your name draws huge crowds of people to your door. I do think it can open a couple revenue streams, and there might be some exceptions to what I'm saying. Like for dry needling, if you're in an area where people love dry needling, we don't offer a dry needling course, but if you're in an area where people really demand dry needling, and now getting that certification allows you to use that skill set, whereas before you weren't allowed to before you had the certification. I could see how that could open up some streams of folks who might be coming your way. But I think generally speaking, certifications don't do a great job of drawing people to your door because the public generally has no idea what they are or what they mean. So I don't think that's a great reason to do it. And if you're doing it for that reason, I would really ask you to challenge yourself and think about kind of where your head is at and where your general projections at and what your why is. So let's talk a bit about why I accumulated them over the years, and I'll give you some of that perspective and how then it bleeds into why we as a company offer them and what we think you can use them for. So for me personally, over the years, I pursued people and studied the marketplace to find folks who were really highly knowledgeable in areas where I was not competent. Right? And I knew that I was underserving my population because I did not have a certain skill set, right? And I wanted to be a better resource, but I needed someone else to be a resource for me first, right? Like, so a great example I talk about a lot is strength and conditioning, right? So I had no strength and conditioning background going into PT school, and my PT school program really did not cover any foundational strength and conditioning principles, right? So when I got out, years into my career, I began looking for those resources. Honestly, even more so lately, as I've gained an appreciation for sort of the breadth of evidence surrounding resistance training and strength and conditioning and high intensity training, etc. So groups like the NSCA, right, who are well known nationally and internationally is having a strong and robust understanding of strength and conditioning principles, right? I sought out their CSCS because I wanted to learn from them because I knew the asymmetry between my understanding and theirs was very dramatic. Same reason I took the CrossFit Level 1 course. I mean, they simply have a dramatically better understanding of those principles than I do, and I want to get some of that understanding. Same reason from a clinical reasoning perspective that I sought out the Evidence in Motion Fellowship. I often tell the story of watching Amy Pakula practice next to me in Montana and realizing how much more proficient she was in the clinic, and realizing a lot of it was because of clinical reasoning, not so much because of individual skills. So wanting to find groups who were strong in that area, seek them out so they could be resources, right? But this brings up the question of, but how do I know once I have the requisite skill set in that new space to best serve my clients? How do I know that if there isn't a test? How do I know that if there isn't a certification? Like, I can't tell you how much I loved Stanley Paris grilling me on utility and history of manual therapy. I mean, I'll never forget that. I'm kind of dating myself a bit, but I'll never forget Stanley sitting right in front of me, hammering me during an oral exam during my manual therapy certification until he was happy that I had the requisite understanding to effectively use these skills in the space. The thought of Julie Whitman watching my videos of me evaluating and treating patients and critiquing my clinical reasoning until she was happy that, yeah, Jeff, you have gotten the level of skill in this space that's going to allow you to well serve people, right? Taking the NSCA CSCS exam. Like, if I don't take the exam, how do I know that I got the skills that I was looking for from this group that I sought out because they had asymmetrical skill set relative to me? Do I really have the ability to say, okay, NSCA, I bought your book and I read it and I got it. I have a good enough understanding that I know I can go out and get the job done. If I had the ability to make that discerning decision, what am I even seeking out these people to begin with for? Like, the reason I'm seeking them out is because I don't have this knowledge. And I want to use their compass to say, hey, I've studied your stuff. I've studied it hard. I've practiced it hard. But now I would love for you to have a look at me and let me know if I've gotten where I need to get to be useful. That to me is at the end of the day, that's what I'm looking for. Julie, am I demonstrating the level of clinical reasoning that I need to be great? Or do I need to go back and dig back in? I'm happy to do it, right? If you can give me some guidance on where to go, I want to jump back in because I want to get to a point where someone who I have determined has a very high level of expertise gives me the nod and says, dude, you're there. Like you've done the work and it shows. Like you have the knowledge and the skill set in this space that you were trying to accrue. I want Stanley Paris to say, Jeff, you've either done sufficient work and you understand this well enough or you don't. I want to pass or fail the CSCS exam. So when I go out to the gym here and I'm talking about strength and conditioning, I know that an organization that has a ton of knowledge in that space has looked at my understanding of the concepts and said, yeah, this guy gets it. Like I just, the people who I'm serving deserve me to be tested by the people that I respect so I know I carry that skill set. Without letting them look at my skills, without taking the exam, I don't know how I would know when I'm there. Outside of me saying, yeah, I feel like I'm there. And again, considering I don't have a lot of knowledge in the space, I don't see how I'm in a great position to make that decision. So whether it was manual therapy, whether it was manipulation, whether it was reasoning, whether it was CSCS, in all of those areas, I have sought out and desired that exam. I want that practical. I want someone to watch me do it and say, dude, it's either great or, hey man, there's a lot that needs to be cleaned up. Wonderful. I'll go clean it up. Do you mind if I come back again in 6 months? I don't mind doing the work. I just want to make sure that I am where I was trying to get. And to me, that was always deeply important. That head nod from people that I have determined to have a lot of expertise in the space, that head nod has always meant a lot to me historically. So that's why I have sought them out. Now, let me give you a little bit of perspective from a company because it gets a little bit different here. So from a company perspective, from an ICE perspective, the reason we offer them is first of all, number one, everything I just told you. I realize that a lot of learners want us to watch them after they've went through all of our courses. They want us to challenge them to deem whether or not they've really gotten a great understanding of concepts. And if we don't make that test available, those learners have no way to judge whether or not they've actually assimilated a sufficient amount of that material. So we owe that to them. We owe that offering of challenging them and testing them so they know whether or not they've gotten over the bar. So for the learners, I know I would want it. I know a lot of them want it. But there's other reasons from a company perspective. So one of those is to really understand who fully grasps all of our concepts, right? So especially the comprehensive ICE certification, you can ask folks who have taken it, who took it in Vegas this year, who are going to be doing it in Seattle next year. It is a very comprehensive test. So, I mean, it's a 90-minute written test, right? It's a half-hour oral exam. It's a practical exam where I've basically got you in front of me and I can just hammer away until we both feel really good that we have an understanding of where you're at. Right? What would you do with this patient? Why would you do it? How vigorously would you do it? How are you going to assess the progress of it? What's the home program going to look like? Would you do this physical test measure or that one? Why? Could you modify it? Let me see that I fully understand, that you understand the principles that we've taught over the past couple of years of your training. So for us to be able to see who really gets it so that we can guide the next level of their career. Either we can send them back and have them polish things up, or we can help guide that next level of their career, because once we know someone's really got it, we've got a lot of opportunities to share with those folks. I mean, whether they go to one of the companies that we're associated with, Onward Physio, Proactivity, Stave Off, Health HQ, there's so many places we can put people that really understand our methodology and our way of practicing. So we need to know who gets it so we can help folks get into that next space. Same with, from a company perspective, same with teaching assistants, right? So we have a lot of faculty. We always need more faculty as the company grows, but the only people that we want as teaching assistants are those that have shown us they fully grasp all of our key concepts. The only way that we can know that is by testing them. So from a company perspective, understanding who really gets this stuff is very important for guiding their career as well as for building the company in a way that continues to serve people at the level that we expect, right? Additionally, it creates a monster referral network. So when we go to refer somebody, or somebody else who's ICE trained wants to refer someone to another ICE trained clinician because they like that methodology or that way of going about practice, right? We need to know who those people are. So for those of you who have taken an ICE course and you're in the student Facebook page, we've got maybe 1,000 of us over there, and we're referring multiple people every day. to other ICE trained clinicians because it's just a philosophy that we believe is effective, right? And so we want to know who's done that so we can amplify that referral network and get people that we know need care into the hands that we want them in. So creating that referral network and being able to get folks high quality care is really important to us. And again, without having some level of testing and some barometer of that, it's really hard to create that in a very definitive way. So from a company perspective, knowing who gets it, right? So we can help them move forward, having folks to refer to, being able to build teaching assistants, being able to fuel opportunities in some of these other companies. All of those things are very relevant from a company perspective. Now, from an individual perspective, right? So like, how do I think that you can benefit from the certifications? Well, number one is being a recipient of that referral network. So again, we're passing a lot of patients around. Once you've shown that you have the goods in our space, that referral network begins to come your way. So one thing I would say right off the bat is being a part of that referral network. Now, it's not going to get you, it's not going to fill your schedule, right? It's, as I said earlier, I don't think certifications create a flood of patients in your direction. But certainly we do put key people in those places, and certainly that referral network is an important place to be, right? Additionally, for you to get people that you care about high quality care, right? So now you've went through a certification process. You know what that entails. You know other people went through the same thing. So when you're going to refer somebody, you can find somebody else who has a certain skill set that you deeply understand. So whether referrals are coming to you or whether you're trying to place people in other spaces, understanding that having went through that process is really valuable. I do think also it prompts a lot of great questions from patients, right? And from the public. Like, what is this CERT APHPT? What is prevention health promotion? Oh, it's a great question. You know, I'm a physical therapist, but I specialize in prevention health promotion. I love working with groups of people and seeing if we can't, undo some of the over medicalization, unnecessary spending and suffering that our current system really seems to employ. Right? So I love getting ahead of that and getting in with groups and seeing if I can't manipulate some key variables, do some early screening, right? Do some first aid, demedicalize minor aches and strains, and really avoid that over-medicalization cost and suffering, right? If you're in a company and you folks are having a hard time with musculoskeletal pain and it's affecting your healthcare costs, I would love to come in and work with you all. Boom. Right? It's how a lot of our leads on the proactivity side, on the APHPT side, a lot of them have been created from conversations just like that. What is prevention health promotion? Oh, it's like this. Yeah, if you're ever interested in that, or your company is, I'd love to have that conversation. So now you're opening up these doors, right? Folks who are, what is a spinal manipulation certification? What is this? What is that? Well, it's this, and we offer that, and I'm trying to get good at that, right? It's an area that I'm trying to develop expertise. So I think prompting that curiosity and questioning can allow you conversations where you can explain to patients what you can fully offer. Along that same vein, it demonstrates unique training, right? However much validity or credibility you want to give it, it does demonstrate that you are trying to specialize in a given space. Like, you're a different animal when you walk into a CrossFit box and you say, look, I know a lot of people want to be in here working with your athletes, right? But understand, I've got a postgraduate specialization in clinical management of the fitness athlete. I mean, I am doing ongoing coursework from people that I respect, trying to develop a high level of expertise in this space. I think I'm the right person for your crew. I think I'm the right person for your members, and I'm going to keep developing that expertise. So just knowing that on an ongoing basis, you're trying to demonstrate that expertise puts you in a different spot in some of these conversations. When you go into companies and say, hey, I'm Jeff Moore, I'm a physical therapist, but I've also got a postgraduate certification in prevention health promotion. The reason I got it is I want to work with you guys and decrease some of this unnecessary spending and some of this unnecessary suffering and over medicalization. I want to prevent some of this stuff, and I am learning it on an ongoing basis. I'm having people test me. I'm challenging myself. I am a specialist in progressing my skills in this space, more so I believe than others, and I would love a crack at being your person. Right? So I think that demonstrating that unique training can give you a marketing advantage if you leverage it. So I think all of those are really good reasons to take one. I think that explains some of our company's perspective. I do want to say one word of caution though, because I get it when people say like the certifications are diluting the doctorate credentials. So like you look at someone's name and they've got, DPT and then a million different letters behind their name. Why isn't the doctorate enough? I think as students and as faculty, we have to take that question seriously. Like, when is it enough? To me, the way that we look at it, the reason we don't have a manual therapy certification is we really do think there is enough hands-on training in most PT schools, right, that people don't need to have a manual therapy certification to explain that they are competent in manual therapy. We think the doctorate degree should give you a good enough hands-on skill set that you're competent in that space using your hands. And thus, we've never had one. But when there's areas that in no reasonable conversation can you say the doctorate degree should be assumed to be covering and making you competent, I do think it's necessary, because in those cases, you know that getting the doctorate did not get you that skill set. It was what you learned postgraduate. So I think about things like our prevention health promotion certification. There's no way you can argue with me that going through a doctorate degree gives you the skill set to utilize prevention health promotion principles at the population level. Like, it just isn't built into most curriculums in any actionable way. Like, if you're going to do that, you're going to get that training postgraduate, right? And then you're going to have a unique skill set that was not taught with your doctorate degree. So the initials DPT do not tell me that somebody has a fluency with managing populations with the explicit intent to prevent and promote health, to prevent injury and promote health. So again, it's just not taught there, so it needs to be taught elsewhere. And when someone does access that skill set, it is unique. And there should be some letters that signify they've accessed that skill set. Same with clinical management of the fitness athlete. Like, I don't know about you guys, but my school taught me nothing about strength and conditioning and barbell movements. Like, if you go to most PTs who do not have a strength and conditioning background outside of DPT school, and you say, hey, can you build me up for that athlete, for that individual, a 6-month periodized program with these strength and conditioning and power goals and sports specificity skills? Like, can you build that program for me, and can you train that individual? The answer for most DPTs is no. Right? If you ask your average, your DPT who went through has no strength and conditioning background outside of school and say, hey, that person's having some pain with their hang clean. Can you have a look at the form, maybe analyze the bar path, give them a few options on body position to see if we can't coach that low back pain out of there, and then maybe talk a bit about the efficiency of that path so they can lift some maximal loads once they're ready. Can you go ahead and clean that up for me? Your average DPT who did not have any strength and conditioning background is going to say, yeah, that was not covered in my training, because we don't cover barbell movements. We don't cover strength and conditioning principles very well. So when you offer those and when people demonstrate competence in those, they need to have letters or some sort of signification that they are different, that they have went above and beyond, right? I did not learn about professional bike fitting, right, in school, but there's a huge market demand, and a lot of folks want to go to someone who has that skill set to fit them on their bike so they can maximally perform and stay in shape. So when you go to our course and you become professionally bike fit certified, you're darn right that's different than just having a DPT, because people who have a DPT don't know how to professionally fit bikes. So when we do educate therapists in areas that are very clearly different from what they learn in the DPT, but have a significant market advantage, we should bestow upon them the opportunity to obtain credentials to leverage that advantage. So I think in those spaces, that's very important. I also think we've got to be careful as companies to not be offering things that are covered in school, that don't require a unique designation. And I think it's always a good gut check for all of us. So really, folks, that wraps it up. I know that's a lot of thoughts on sort of my personal journey towards certifications, the reasons our company offers it, the benefits to you as an individual, and then some of the things we've got to think about and challenge ourselves not to go too far overboard and only do it when it's necessary and valuable. Most importantly, remember Gut Check Thursday, folks. It is Thursday. It is Gut Check Thursday. 7-minute AMRAP burpees at Ice Physio, hashtag Ice Train. Get that free t-shirt. More importantly, suffer a little bit today and share that with your friends. Folks, I'll be in Blacksburg, Virginia next weekend doing lumbar spine at Total Motion. Be in Blacksburg. We still have at least 5 seats for that course. The one in Seattle this weekend does not have any seats available. I'll be in Seattle teaching lumbar spine in Mill Creek. I think. And then next weekend for sure is Blacksburg, Virginia, Total Motion for lumbar spine management. So come join us. Mark Gallant is going to be there. Jordan Berry might drive up. I'm going to have a really nice crew in Virginia. So we'd love to hang out with you guys there. PTOnIce.com as always. Folks, have an absolutely killer day. Take care.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the PT on Ice Daily Show. If you enjoyed this content, head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. And be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at the Institute of Clinical Excellence. If you're interested in getting plugged into more ICE content on a weekly basis while earning CEUs from home, check out our virtual ICE online mentorship program at ptonice.com. While you're there, sign up for our Hump Day Hustling newsletter for a free email every Wednesday morning with our top 5 research articles and social media posts that we think are worth reading. Head over to ptonice.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to sign up.